Good evening, everyone. This is Joey Foster. I'm on the phone here with head coach of West Virginia Mountaineers, Neal Brown. Neal, how you doing, buddy?
I'm doing well. Appreciate you having me on.
I appreciate you being here with us today, Neal. So I have quite a few questions for you. I had some people that submitted some questions for me, and one of the questions that was asked of me, and I thought that was a great question, a great way to approach this with you today. With the NIL and everything changing in college football, when you came into West Virginia University in 2019, and then 2020, the pandemic hits, NIL hits, transfer portal hits, everything hits you at once. Is that what kind of slowed down the progress of the program a little bit?
Well, you never want to look back and make excuses. What I will say is we didn't win enough early on, and we were competitive. We lost some close games for a variety of reasons. It wasn't just one thing. But I think when we kind of had a perfect storm there too, where you had NIL, you had COVID, you had transfer portal, you had a whole lot of things going on. A lot of those outside of our control. But I think if you look back, hindsight, like I said, is always 20/20. If I had to do it over again, the one thing that we would have done differently is how we handled our roster during the first year. And we felt like, coming off the 2018 season that Dana had, and they got off to a really good start. And I think they either had 6 or 7 draft picks off that, or maybe, I think it was 6, but draft picks off that team, and then lost some games down the stretch, ended up going 8-4, I believe, on the year. And they lost a lot of guys, but we felt like there was enough core guys there. Man, if we got a break or two, that we could be a bowl team in year one. And we ended up going 5-7, played well down the stretch. But if I had, and the rules are different now. It's easier to clear your roster now than it was then. But I think if we had to do it over again, we probably would have done some cleaning out of our roster earlier on.
Okay, I understand that. So last year was a great season. You went 9-4, went in your bowl game against North Carolina in the Duke's Mayo Bowl. How was the Mayo? How was the Mayo back? Did you enjoy that?
No, that wasn't a big. I wasn't a big fan of that. But I will say this: they gave the money to a local food bank here who does a tremendous job. So that was worth it.
Yeah.
Mayonnaise is one of my least favorite things, and so, but I sucked it up. We got it done, and we had a great experience in Charlotte. The bowl committee is tremendous there. It's a great host city. I thought Duke's really put on a first class event. It was great for our fans. And we had a great turnout. The stadium, we were playing in the state of North Carolina, and it was like a home game for us. It was all gold and blue.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I love going down to North Carolina. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to go down and make the game this time, but it's beautiful down there, and there's a huge fan support for West Virginia University down there. So last year you were going 9-4. When did you learn? When did you know that you had a much improved team over the past years? Because going into the season, you were picked to finish last in the conference. I told everybody they were nuts. There was no way we was going to finish last. But, we were picked to go last. You ended up finishing tied for fourth in the conference. When did you know you had a much improved team? Was it just knowing what you had coming back and returning? And
well, we played pretty well at the end of the 22 season. When we made the shift to Garrett Green, the quarterback, and let's see if you can peel back the layers a little bit. I thought we were talented. We really did not perform up to my expectations. I thought we underachieved, offensively especially. Defensively, we were decimated by the transfer portal. We just didn't have enough NIL dollars at the time to hold on to some key players. We lost 6 starters on defense from the 21 season going into the 22 season. But at the end of the 22 season, we made the decision to kind of go to a run-heavy offense with Garrett Green at quarterback, and we beat Oklahoma. Only time that we've ever beat Oklahoma in the Big 12 was here at Mountaineer Field. And then we played competitively against Kansas State. They beat us, but they were the eventual conference champion. And then we come back the next week and win at Oklahoma State. So it's one of the toughest places to play in our league. We'll go on the road and win that game. And so we went to the last three, and we kind of figured out what we need to be successful in our league. And we returned most of our defensive line and all of our offensive line. I knew we had been building on both fronts. I felt really good about that. And I knew that Garrett was going to be much better than anticipated. And so, and then we got into our winter program and into spring ball, and I could see the type of kids we had and the work ethic we had. So I knew we were going to be a much improved football team. I felt like we'd be the most improved team in our league. And I knew we were going to be a really tough out. And so I was not surprised. I was surprised we were picked to finish that low, just because I just thought it was lazy reporting, people not doing their homework. I don't know if there's ever been a team finish last that has the most returning starts on their offensive line. The game still won up front, and we had multiple NFL players that started on our offensive line last year. We had the most starts returned in our entire league, one of the tops in the entire country. So I just thought it was kind of lazy reporting, but it did fuel our fire. And last year was a fun year. Now, as we head into this 24 season, we have the burden of expectations, which is something we welcome.
Now, you guys just had your spring game, and the festivities up there were fantastic, by the way. Congratulations on a great spring game. Probably the best spring game I've ever witnessed, to be honest with you. I've been a Mountaineer fan since 1976, so a long time. That was probably the best spring game atmosphere I've ever seen. It was really a lot of fun. What did you learn in the spring game that you can use going forward for the season? Was there a particular player like last year? Last year it seemed like we seen Hudson Clement come on strong, and the year before we seen Preston Fox come on strong. Who stood out to you this time, and that maybe you can use going forward?
Well, I don't know if we learned anything from the spring game. It was a fun event. The way I talk to our team is the coaches get 14 spring practices and the players get one. And the spring game is their practice. Is the one they get. But what I learned from our overall 15 practices is we've got a team that's really hungry. They're hungry to take the next step. I thought that our second and third levels on defense is going to be much improved. I really like the linebacker depth we have. And I think our secondary is going to be much improved from a year ago. We've had some good additions there. And I like the way that our receiver core is maturing. And I thought that Nico made a real positive step in the spring and really cemented my belief that he's going to be a high-level quarterback here at West Virginia. And so it was a productive spring. Now the guys got a little time off here during the month of May, and then we'll follow up. And we've got an 8-week summer session that we've got to take advantage of.
Yeah. Now, going all the way back, this is going all the way back to what I can remember. We've always, not always, but most of the time we play 11 Power 5 teams at West Virginia University. And that's happened since Rich Rodriguez days. We've been playing like 11 Power 5s just about every year. So that's a little bit tougher schedule than everybody. And now, right now, with Pitt and Penn State, number one, two huge rivals. But number two, with Penn State being one of the best programs in the country year in and year out, playing them last year, I imagine the team got a lot of confidence knowing that they were, able to play with them boys. And this year, they should have a lot of confidence going into that game. I'm really excited to watch that game this year. But how did the players feel after the Penn State game last year? I know there was a loss, but they really played very well. I mean, really well, I thought. And I always thought that we had a chance to win that game, even with like 8 minutes to go or so in the fourth quarter. There was a good chance of us being able to win that game. So I thought it was a great showing by the players and the coaches. You guys did a great job. Did the players have a lot of confidence going into this season, knowing that they played that well last year?
Well, I'll start with kind of the first topic you were discussing, which is scheduling. And scheduling is a really tough dynamic. it's a tough dynamic because we play in a conference, which we're very blessed to be in the Big 12 conference. You know, where would we be if it wasn't for the Big 12? I think that's the question our fan base has to answer. So we're blessed to be in the Big 12, but there's a lot of travel. And so, you know, we played 11 Power 5 opponents every year except for the COVID year. And, you know, we're the only team in our league that's done that. And so what it does is it puts you at a disadvantage from a win-loss perspective. And we're playing one less home game than almost everybody in our league, which I think is a disadvantage for our fans. It's a disadvantage for the state of West Virginia and for the city of Morgantown. We should play 7 home games like we are this year. We should play those 7 home games every single year, and we should schedule as such. And so it's a fine line between really should play, the scheduling model here should be 9 league games. You play Pitt, that's your 10th game in a home and home. You play a group of 5 and an FCS opponent. That's the way we should schedule. And that'll give us 7 home games each year. And that's what we'll try to do when we have full control of the scheduling. But it's a balance because our fan base deserves regional rivalries. And since we've been here, we've been able to play. We played NC State. We played Virginia Tech in a home and home. We've played Pitt, and now we're playing Penn State. And so those games are really, really important. I just think that we've got to be careful not to overschedule ourselves and still prepare our team for a Big 12 conference, give us an opportunity to get the double-digit wins the most times, and then play home games. I think those are all really, really important. But I do understand the dynamic of needing to play regional rivalries. You know, the game at Penn State last year, a really tough opener for us. I thought we did a good job hanging in until about the middle of the third quarter. And if you go back and you really pay attention to that game, we had 2 third downs and a 4th down offensively that were really backbreakers for us, where we just didn't make a play. We had a drop touchdown, and then we had a really poor pass by Garrett, and then we didn't pick up a blitz correctly. And if we make those plays, maybe even one of those 3, then it's a tie ball game, or we're even ahead going into the fourth quarter. And then defensively, they score a 2 third down touchdowns on us, you know, where if we just get a stop. And so they ended up scoring. They scored late in the game to make it look really convincing. But the game was closer than the final score. But at the end of the day, they were better than us. They had one of the top defenses in the country last year. And then offensively, they've had, I think, a couple of linemen drafted, a tight end drafted, and so really talented group. You know, we're excited about the opportunity. We're going to kick off the season. We're going to be. I'm sitting here overlooking our field right now as I do this interview, and I can picture it. On August 31st, this place is going to be rocking and rolling, regardless of what time the game is. Our fans are going to be ready to go, and it's going to be an extremely tough venue for Penn State to come in and play. It's going to be loud. Our team will have a lot of confidence, but you know, once the ball's kicked off, it's about execution, and we've got to do a better job of blocking. We've got to do a better job of tackling, and then we've got to make those game-deciding plays that Penn State made last year. We did not.
Right. But you know, I'm really looking forward to the game. I will be at the game this year. I know a lot of people that are coming up, and I'm really looking forward to that game. So I have a question for you from a viewer, and his question is, and I know you answered this in the press conference, but this is a viewer from, actually, he's not even a West Virginia fan. He's an Alabama fan. And he has a good question. I know you went over this in the press conference. How do you feel about the rule changes for 2024, the helmet communications and 2-minute warning and things like that?
Well, I think from a fan perspective, I think the more the college game from a rules standpoint mirrors the NFL, I think it's better. You know, in my opinion, casual fans should watch a game on Saturday and then watch a game on Sunday, and the rules should be basically the same. And we've got way too many differences rules-wise, college and NFL right now. So I think the helmet communication is much needed. I think 2-minute warning makes a lot of sense. And so I'm for the games, the rules of the games becoming closer.
Yeah. Now I noticed during the spring game, it seemed like Garrett and Nico were having a little bit of communication problem with the helmets. They couldn't hear the plays a couple of times. Was that just technology on our end, or is that the technology of the type of headphone you were using?
Well, the stadium's not wired yet, so we're working off a wireless field. They'll wire during the summer to get it prepared for the season.
Oh, okay, good deal. That's kind of what I figured it was, but I wasn't sure. I knew you because you had mentioned one time about changing. You changed the name brand of the headphones or something. So
we do. Yeah, you're exactly right.
All right. Well, Coach Brown, I appreciate you joining us. I know you're a busy man. I appreciate you giving us 15 minutes of time today and things. And good luck on the upcoming season. We're looking forward to watching the Mountaineers and cheering you guys on. And I appreciate you being with us.
Well, I appreciate you having us on, and the season will be here before we know it. So hope our fans will buy tickets and tune in, and we're going to have an exciting team this year, and can't wait to get started.